A warm welcome to all the IMS students who are a part of this session. This session is all about knowing one of the aspirational business schools of India which you guys are preparing for, which is MICA. We will try to cover two parts in today's session. Part one is would be all about knowing what MICAT exam is. How different is this exam than the other exams that you are preparing for, and why you should apply for the given exam. From the faculty's perspective side, we'll also understand what does MICA looks at in the candidate in the selection plan. And in part two, we'll try to understand how great MICA is as an institution for you guys to study. We'll understand the learning opportunities which you guys will get, the placement outcomes, and we'll try to listen to some of the great success stories of the alumni outside MICA, what they're doing. For the session, we have got some senior professors available today. We have got Professor Ruchi Tewari and Professor Taral Pathak. Thank you, first of all, for both of you for taking time out and talking to all the IMS students, and welcome on board. Professor Taral will be navigating us to understand what MICAT exam is all about, and then possibly Professor Ruchi can take in some of the important questions which students have in their mind. Usually all the students have questions, one with respect to which all exams they should apply for. And obviously, once they have got multiple offer letters, it's important for them to choose the right course and the right college. So we'll try to cover all the perspective here.
Thank you. First of all, good evening and a very warm welcome to all of you all. I was given this as a topic which was a question mark, which is gearing up for MICAT. But the first slide does not start off as a question mark because I'm pretty sure that most of you all are gearing up for MICAT. And that's the objective for the first 10-15 minutes right now, to look at what is MICAT as an entrance exam. So let me walk you through the entire selection process, and then we are up for questions. So as the first eligibility that we are looking at, step one, is that each candidate must have taken at least one of the three exams, CAT, ZAT, or GMAT. So that's important, that apart from taking MICAT as an entrance exam, every candidate should have appeared for any one of these. If you've appeared for more than one of these, we'll probably take the best scores which are available. But CAT, ZAT, or GMAT is an important eligibility. And then we come to MICAT. MICAT 1 is on 2nd of December, and MICAT 2 is on 27th of January 2024. MICAT essentially consists of three sections, and I've written this down in bracket over here. Section A is a psychometric test. Section B is a descriptive test. And Section C has 4 subsections to it. The first subsection is divergent and convergent thinking. The second subsection is the verbal ability test. The third one is quantitative ability. And fourth is general awareness. So the entire duration of MICAT is of 135 minutes, which is broken up into the psychometric, the descriptive, and then Section C, which is essentially the 4 subsections that we are looking at. The psychometric has a duration of 25 minutes, descriptive 30 minutes, and 80 minutes for Section C, which is divergent and convergent thinking, verbal ability, quantitative techniques, and general awareness. We look at a total of 80 questions in Section C. So 20 questions on DCT, divergent and convergent thinking, 20 questions on verbal ability, 20 on quantitative techniques, and 10 questions on general awareness. Once a candidate gets through the MICAT, and I will in a flowchart form also show you the progression. But once you've cleared your MICAT, you come to step 3, which is the GE and the PI. And mind you, this is not a group discussion, it is a group exercise. More about it as we move ahead, followed by a personal interview. The final merit list which is prepared, it is prepared on the basis of whether a candidate has qualified on the basis of CAT, ZAT, and GMAT, whether he or she has qualified the psychometric test, and then we start looking at the MICAT score. The GPI score consists of a weighted average of what you scored in CAT, XAT or GMAT. 20% weightage is given to that. 30% weightage is given to your MICAT score. 20% weightage is given to your score in group exercise. And 30% weightage is given to the score in personal interview. So all of this taken together makes a composite score. And based on this composite score, the GPI merit list is prepared. Let me move on to the flow chart, and we are good to take your questions after that. So that's the flow. A candidate applies. One needs to get through the psychometric. The psychometric is essentially a qualifier. You either make it or you don't. If you don't make it, you're dropped off the merit list. Then we start looking at CAT, XAT and GMAT, where we have a minimum cutoff that we tend to adhere to. And then we use that cutoff as an entry-level filter. You get into your MICAT score, which consists of descriptive then, and section C, which is quantitative, DCT, verbal and general knowledge. We have a sectional cutoff for descriptive, a sectional cutoff for verbal, for quantitative, for DCT, as well as general awareness. Based on those sectional cutoffs, you come down to a smaller pool. And then, as I said, there is a GPI list that we announce based on those scores, and your GPI scores along with CAT, XAT and GMAT, along with your MICAT score, that comes down to the final merit list preparation. This is another way of explaining the entire process flow. Best of CAT, XAT and GMAT, weightage of 20%, MICAT score inclusive of the descriptive and aptitude section, which is 30%, GE 20%, and personal interview 30%. All of these scores are normalized, and these normalized scores are then processed in order to look at the merit list preparation. That's the team at our end. Professor Ruchi is chairing the admissions along with me, and we have Mr. Love Thakkar in the admissions department as a manager, along with Jairaj Nair, who is an executive in the admissions department. So that's a small team that we have, and that's essentially the process and a quick bite of MICAT for y'all. As I said, we are open to questions now. If you have any questions, you could probably go ahead, or I would probably hand this over to Professor Ruchi to elaborate on MICAT at length if you want to go ahead and talk about it.
Thank you so much, Tarul, and you spoke a lot in the little time that you took. So here are a few things that I was putting down as my chat notes, which I thought would help elaborate upon all that he has spoken about, and a few things. He spoke about CAT, XAT and GMAT. Kindly note that for us, these are all equivalents. While we note that the focus of CAT, XAT and GMAT is separate, but because for us, it's just an entry filter that we treat them as equals. So anybody focusing upon MICA, taking the MICAT is important, but before that, taking one of the 3 exams, and if you want to better your chances, take all 3. We treat them as equals, and therefore wherever you are done better, that's what we take. So that's point number 1. You know that GMAT scores are valid for a longer time in comparison to CAT and XAT. So go ahead, take a GMAT, give us your previous GMAT if you had better scores. We are fine for that. So we don't have any judgments on which is better and which is worse. So that's point number 1. That was also one of the questions that I got earlier, which asked us, is it necessary to take one of this? In a capital Y-E, yes, necessary. Bold, underline, highlight, italicize, font size 69. So you have to take one of these. Point 1. Point 2, if you've taken this exam, please share your scores with us. That responsibility lies on you. Why am I saying that? I will mention very categorically. We don't want to goof up with anything. Here is why. You could have taken a GMAT and I could be using your ZAT scores. I mean, possibly, because I source the ZAT and the CAT scores from CAT office and ZAT office. But I can't source the GMAT scores because they come to you directly. There isn't an India agency that can provide to me your GMAT scores. So is that clear? Every year there is some loss of candidates and definitely some sad stories that come to us saying, I did not know about this. I'm so sorry. Can I do it now? But once you've missed the bus, you've missed the bus. So I'll repeat, CAT, ZAT, GMAT, take one of them or take all of them. If you've taken it, please ensure that you share your scores with us. That's point one. Point two, everything that Taral talked about is MICAT, but MICAT happens twice in a year. We have a MICAT happening on the first Saturday of December. Every year, first Saturday of December is MICAT 1 date. Last Sunday of January, MICAT 2 dates. One more time, these exams are equivalent exams for us. I'll explain why we conduct them twice. Unlike CAT, which is there to just sort people out to say, bhag jao nahi chahiye, we are willing to offer you a second chance. Reason, we do not come out with formulas, equations only. We are looking at and we take into consideration the possibility of you having one bad day and screwing up an exam. If you screwed up MICAT 1, MICAT 2 is there. So there is a possibility that I've prepared really hard, but on that one day, at that time, it wasn't my day and I messed up. Never mind. If you've really prepared and you worked hard, come back to us. MICAT 2 is there. That's one reason. Second reason why we conduct 2 MICATs is very simply this. We acknowledge that a lot of parents put pressure on you saying, take the CAT, take the CAT, take the CAT. And very often the CAT, the moment you take the CAT, you realize, nahin, this is not happening. You still have an option up for the MICAT. Speak to your parents, tell them you took the CAT, this is what happened. You still have a chance, fill up for the MICAT 2 exam and welcome, right? Third prospect. And why am I saying this? Because you as a candidate will know that I am not a straight-jacketed just MBA material. Like I'm not an straight-jacketed MBA material. I am an MBA plus or MBA with a difference or an MBA which also recognizes me as an individual. That's what we at MICA do. Come back, take the MICAT 2. You've taken the CAT, take the MICAT 2, submit your scores to us. We are good. Third and final reason, because the MICAT is a complicated battery of tests, a lot of my students who take the MICAT 1 only take it for practice. That's when they realize that, yes, it's a lovely exam. It intrigued me. I fell in love writing the exam. I want to better this. Go ahead, better it, right? And the fourth reason, a lot of students who appear for MICAT are not freshers. A lot of them have worked for 6 months, 1 year, on an average 18 months of work experience of a typical MICA in-campus PGP1. And we do not incentivize experiences, but this is the natural response of the market. Because you are working, we recognize the pressures that a work life has for you. Therefore, we feel that take the MICAT 1. If you feel, okay, now I've got a hang of it, come back, take the MICAT 2. So is that clear with everybody? And I will repeat what Professor Pathak just mentioned. We normalize scores. So for us, a MICAT 1 is equal to MICAT 2. Take both, normalize scores. We will let you know through which have you gotten. What is the pressure that it brings on us? Immense. It's a world of a difficulty to create one paper. We do 2. We try and level them. And of course, notch up the MICAT 2 a little because there are a lot of students who take a second attempt at MICAT 2. The second gig is a slightly more interesting gig than the first one. So there it is, right? So is that out to everybody? Now, the third important point, Professor Pathak mentioned there are usually 80 questions in the third section. But please be careful, it's usually. Last year it was 70. And the one thing we like to do is we always like to do some little atrangi twist. Our idea is that it should not be like 1 minute, one question. It should be, for certain questions, very clearly it's 30 seconds. And for certain questions, it is 1.5 minutes. So that's how we design the entire paper. So the entire paper, by its very design, offers you more than a minute for a question. I'm talking specifically of the third section. Okay, now I will get back and talk of the section B, which is descriptive. For a lot of you, I read a lot of questions. Descriptive mein kya karne ka? I'm preparing for CAT. CAT doesn't have descriptive. I've done ZAT. ZAT has also given up descriptive. Now what to do for descriptive? Here is my one little bit. I request read stories and begin to try and see, are there connections between apparently disparate things? Now, what do I mean? I mean a sabzi ka thela and a book in quant. Do they have any connections? Right? And I'll give you 4 pictures. The paper is there, the sample paper is out there. The descriptive has 2 subsections. One is a textual section where you write a story. Basis your response to one cue that I give, and the cue could be, I hate the laptop. Give me 3 arguments why. Give me 3 reasons why managers will oppose this, and give me 3 ways how managers will use this. Just 300 words, 250 words. Largely, what am I doing? I'm unboxing your mind. What am I looking for? I'm looking for your abilities to be creative, because at MICA, when we say we are a school of creativity and we are a school of ideas, we mean it. It starts from the entrance exam. When I'm saying creativity, I am not saying, can you write fictitious grand stories? No, I'm saying, can you find logical connections between apparently disparate stimulants in the outside world? Because that's what a manager does. I mean, you've grown up in Bombay, you studied in Bombay, Bangalore, XYZ, and then I pick you up and put you in a foreign market to sell a product which is completely foreign. Here it is. I could be requesting you, or I could be placing you in a marketing firm. I'm a vegetarian and I'm expected to brand maybe fish, canned fish. I don't know the product. I've never eaten the product. I've never tasted the product. I haven't lived in that ecosystem. So this is a completely foreign thing for me. Do I have intuitive ideas to look at problems? That's all we are checking for. We do check for basic hygiene of grammar presence, which most of you have, because you've prepared for a verbal section, which does all the grammar, right? It does jumbling sentences, it does verbal, it does lala, synonyms, antonyms, 1,000-word power, all of that you've done. So we know that you've got the semantics and the syntax right. So that's not a problem. The second section in the descriptive are 4 very, very clearly disconnected pictures. And these disconnected pictures could be the blind behind Taral's chair. It could be Taral's chair. It could be a laptop, and it could be a bottle of water, or it could be a woman selling vegetables, or it could be a bunch of keys, or it could be a pencil. It could be an emoji. And I'm saying, put these 4 pictures into any order that you like. I just label them A, B, C, D. You put them in an order. You say, my order is C, B, A, D, and write a story. That's it. This story, I will repeat, and please note, just needs to have the following 2 things. Ideally, a complete story and a logical story. That's it. Because when you go to make pitches to clients, that's what you do. You're supposed to be sounding very, very logical. You're not supposed to be sounding fantastic. Right? So is the descriptive out? And I come to the first section, the psychometric section. It has, and I'm sure you'll fall out of your chair, it has 150 questions, rapid fire. You go on and on and on. And I ask you so many questions because I don't want you to cheat the system. I want your intuitive first response. There were at least 6 to 8 questions saying, how do I handle the psychometric? Be honest, be quick, and try and answer maximum possible questions. That's it. That's it. आपको कोई book नहीं पढ़ना है. And my humble request and plead is, in case you come across someone who says, I will help you prepare for the psychometric section. No. The best thing to do for a psychometric section is put yourself in the center, read the question, respond to the answer. Question, answer, question, answer. That's it. Try and cover, I will repeat, honestly respond to maximum possible questions. That's the only cue. Right? So that covers the entire MICAT frame in terms of the written question. The GE and the PI, they happen at a much later stage, normally in the month of March. GE is largely, like Professor Pathak mentioned, an exercise, and the PI in MICA is probably, and I take pride in saying, it's a distinct exercise in knowing yourself. The one common feedback that we get every year is that after we took the MICAT exam, the MICAT PI, I just knew so much more about myself, which I had never known before. Yeah, so that is for the MICAT GE and the PI. Now getting back, I saw 2 questions early on, which I thought I should respond. One of those questions asked me that, does MICA only have marketing? So no, we have 5 specializations at MICA, and let me therefore then start and talk a little about MICA first before I get into talking about anything. And this should cover a little bit about placements, the program. Like every other AICTE approved program, MICA is an NB approved and IRF ranked, AICTE approved MBA PGP program. We have 2 programs. We have the first program, which is a PGDM-C, a postgraduate diploma program focusing on communication. And we have a PGDM program, which is a postgraduate program in management. Now, clearly 2 programs at the core and genesis, because they are both rooted in MICA, they have a very similar orientation. They deal with analytical mindset and a creativity blending into each other, but they have a few distinguishing attributes. One being that the PGDM program, please note, the PGDM program has a 6-credit MyImpact compulsory program. What's a MyImpact? MyImpact is a course which is purely experiential project-driven course, compulsory for the PGDM students. I will repeat, please make a note before you tick the PGDM and the PGDM-C option. It's a compulsory module for the PGDM students, 6-credit, project-based, where you're divided into teams of 5 to 6 each, and you are given an urban space problem. It's not a rural problem. It distinctly focuses on cities and the problems associated to cities. So for example, Ahmedabad Management Corporation, it can give us a problem and say that I want to increase my digital usage. And the MICA students will then solve this problem till they give a solution and implement the solution and also look at some impact of the solution. That's one end. The other end could be, how do I get my users to be using alternate energy more than traditional energy? But these are all urban space problems. That's typical to a PGDM program. That's point 1. The second thing is that the focus of the PGDM, and this year onwards, you will also see it on the website as a part of the eligibility criterion. We are laying a little extra emphasis on analytics. So your quant section will become more important for the PGDM selection. The moment I say that, by default, you get to know that MICA, apart from doing advertising and brand management, runs a whole lot of other specializations also. We do run specializations in digital analytics as well. So digital transformation, those 6 specializations are there on MICA website. starting from advertising and brand management, which is typical to what MICA is and has been, to very contemporary specializations like digital transformation and analytics. Those are also specializations run in MICA.
Media and entertainment as well.
Yeah, media and entertainment as well. Thank you so much, Tarun. And therefore, placements, we have companies coming from the Googles and the Apples of the world, which probably flock all campuses, to very, very well sort of companies that come to our campus. Unlike a typical regular B school, we have a L'Oreal that's a celebrated company that comes to campus. Students look forward to getting into L'Oreal's. A P&G, that's a celebrated brand to come in. An ITC. So those are brands which work in the area of communication and marketing. Apart from that, you also have a D. Shaw coming to the campus. Typical analytics firm. And they're equally interested in hiring a MICAN. Needless to say, we have the Hindus, the Jagrans. We have a lot of sports management and gaming companies coming to campus who hire for the media and entertainment sector. Because we are a very small school, unlike, and I will repeat, I'm not taking names, but schools whom we compete with, they have a batch of 600. I have a batch of 204. And you can imagine 204 across specializations, which means you're really a boutique handful of you and a handful of faculties who very closely work with the students. So what's unique about MICA are the following, I would say 2 things. And I start with the students. The first unique thing about MICA is that we do not, and in all caps, we do not have any reservations or any priorities given to any section. No section. Except a financial aid provided to students coming from economically and financially unprivileged section. So while we seem to be holding this reputation and image of saying that it's a very elite school, there is lots of scholarship available for people who come from economically underprivileged sections. If you think you have it in you, please apply for MICA. Reach out and look at the financial aid section. There's lots there. In fact, a couple of our faculties also have scholarships there. So please reach out to that. I'm sure so financials should not be an inhibitor. Apart from that, there is absolutely no reservation in MICA. So your 10th grade, 12th grade, college grades don't matter to us, except the basics, which is required by the AICT. Your work experience or fresher doesn't matter to us. You're a male, female, third gender doesn't matter to us. Unlike a lot of B schools, you will see female quota, male quota, work experience, 10% marks, 10th grade, 10% marks. No. For us, what we are looking for is you as an individual who's willing to work hard. One, is sure that he or she wants to experiment with themselves. It's a very important aspect. You should be willing to cross over and take the leap of faith to say, well, I've been very good. So in my current batch, I have a student who had an offer from LSE, that London School of Economics, dropped that and is sitting in my class. And she dropped that because she's very sure she wants to get into MICA. That's on one hand. And on the other hand, I also have a student who's been actually a laggard all along till graduation and then felt, no, I think I got to make it, prove it, has a reasonably very decent CAT score, which qualifies for our cutoff, did well in MICAT and is right here on the campus. And he or she comes back and tells me that, ma'am, this is like my best campus that I've ever been to. So I don't have 90% IITs sitting back into my class. My current class mix has dentists, architects, lawyers, chartered accountants. I mean, can you imagine a chartered accountant sitting in a MICA campus saying, creativity, I think मैंने CA clear कर लिया, but this is not what I want to do. I have lots of biotechnology, MSc, BSc, pure sciences, Taral, help me a little. Of course, needless to
Engineers,
say.
BCom, BBA grads, yeah, all of them.
And I have pots of BA and MA English literature, economics, psychology, political science, sociology, anthropology. And this is bachelor's in all of this and master's in all of this. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because the typical mindset with which all of you approach CAT and ZAT is, oh, ye to engineers ka hai. This is very bent towards quant. Maths aati hai to hoga, nahi aati hai to nahi hoga. No. Please give a very fair look at the paper. Don't look at it, and it is not. I will scream loud to say a MICAT exam is not another CAT exam. So what do? That brings me to the third very important question. How do I prepare for MICAT? Here it is. Psychometric, I told you. Be honest, know yourself, try and answer maximum possible questions, and it should be the best way. Descriptive, I mentioned to you. Please try and look at ways in which you can find connections between apparently disconnected things. Read a lot of stories, write stories, be foolish but express yourself unlimited as a preparation for the descriptive section, right? So, jo khud ko hold karke rakha hai na, a lot of you. So, communication, I'm very good at communication, I'm very bad at communication. Storytelling, I know storytelling, I don't know. In school also, I was always poor in essay writing, so I will be poor in descriptive writing also. No, you've been poor, you can work on it, and here is a chance. Please go ahead, take an attempt. You'll be able to do it. It's my assurance. Try and find connections between Economic Times and Filmfare and Vogue, and say, if I were to connect the three and tell someone, you must read Economic Times, Mint, Filmfare and Vogue, what is that line of argument? That's what you need to prepare. So largely, the confinement with which you've held yourself all along, please break that, release yourself and be free in your head. Let expressions flow, things will come out. And I can tell you, typically engineers, and I'm sorry to be stereotyping, but typically a lot of engineers feel, oh, descriptive is very difficult for me because I've never done this. It'll be very easy for art grads. No. The topics are agnostic to any domain. So go ahead and express yourself. We come to the third section. In the third section, the quant section, the key difference in the quant section that you answered in MICAT and that you've answered in CAT is technical quant. We are looking at applied quant, right? तो एक फॉर्मूला जो आप ट्रिग्नोमेट्री में यूज करते हो उसको अप्लाई करोगे, how will it pan out? That's the kind of question you will have. You will not have give the formula of this is a good whatever probability of. So you don't have these direct questions. So that's one thing. So your preparation of CAT hugely helps in preparing for the fundamentals that you apply in MICAT. Am I making sense? I will repeat. CAT, you prepare fundamentals. You do your theories, you do your equations, formulas, apply them. That's MICAT. So that preparation is a transferable skill from CAT to MICAT. In the verbal section, very similar. In CAT, ZAT, you do a verbal where you read 1,000 million pages and you rattle them, apply them here. That's MICAT verbal. That leads us with two more questions. The first being two more sections. Descriptive, divergent and convergent thinking. Like the word says, divergent and convergent thinking, we have a lot of questions on logic. We have a lot of questions which compel you to check for your aptitude, basic aptitude, right? So logical thinking, analytical thinking, inward thinking, outward thinking, divergent, convergent, that's all that section has. And finally, general awareness. I will go out and scream hoarse. We do not ask static GK questions. When was S. Radhakrishnan born is not of interest to a MICAT paper. It's a very important fact for Indian history, but not for writing the MICAT. I hope that settles a lot of anxiety. So this general awareness is not a UPSC general awareness. It's not a law general awareness. It's not a PO exam general awareness. It's completely management, hugely economics, finance, marketing, communication, the business world general awareness. Within the business world general awareness, I will not ask you, is the Ministry of Finance led by Taral Pathak, Abhijit Singh, IMS India, Ruchi Tewari? No, we don't ask you those questions. I'll ask you that in case if this policy happened, its implications were. And that's what I'll ask you. So that's also a very, very applied section. That makes my MICAT sphere. Okay. One large question जो हर बार आता है, what is the cutoff for CAT, SAT and GMAT? So Babas, if you give me the data for this year, I'll give you the cutoff. But you can't give me data for the coming year. So I can't give you the cutoff for the coming year. I can tell you in the past, the cutoffs have been quite challenging. For which the only motivation that you should have is do well in your CAT and SAT. That's the only thing. Because suppose I say last year my cutoff was 85. I don't know if that gives you any relief. Because this year it could be 75 or 95. I don't know how will the CAT paper be. I don't know how will the SAT paper be. I don't know how well or how unwell will you perform in the CAT and SAT. And I don't know whether you will write the MICAT, and I don't know what is the pool that I will have. So it's all unpredicted, unknown categories for me. I cannot and I will never be able to. And my only plea is, अगर आपको कोई बताता है कि ये है, तो वो झूठ बोलो. Because barring Taral and me, I don't think anybody knows, and we also like to hit our heads against the wall, lose our memory for the last year and go ahead in the next year. Because all of that is buried in documents, which is only there. We do not access that material. Is that clear with everybody? Yes. Now I see 2 participants. Any questions, anybody? Because I think I've spoken a whole lot. आप सवाल पूछिए और हम जवाब देते हैं. Thank you, Taral, for pitching in the meanwhile and doing a lot of
typing
questions. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, I almost see like a newspaper print here.
So there is one question that I see repeatedly coming through. If you want to touch upon, how is PGDM-C different from PGDM? Although you did mention it a little bit.
No, but I must respond to that a little bit. So here it is. Take PGDM-C as the core MICA curriculum. Everything that you find about MICA courses is the PGDM-C course, right? The PGDM has a few courses which are not applicable to PGDM, and they have a 6 credit of what is called the My Impact, which is an urban problem, not a social, urban business problem, which is project driven. That's the key differentiator. What are we going ahead and doing? I'm talking about that also. Going ahead, because we know that the key jobs are going to be in analytics, we are laying a lot of focus on analytics, and we will be writing the PGDM program with analytics. That's going to be a very minor gradual shift. Now, it's not as if next year I'm going to change the entire curriculum and PGDM will have a very different curriculum. No. It's going to be very gentle, very minor. If this year over last year, I'll tell you the difference. Last year, this My Impact project, which is compulsory for PGDM, was optional for PGDM-C. This year, PGDM-C did not and do not have that option. Can you understand the difference? So till last year, my PGDM and my PGDM-C were a lot more similar. For PGDM, something was compulsory, and for PGDM-C, it was optional. Now, PGDM has that option. PGDMC does not have that option. I just saw someone say, is PGDM better than PGDMC? Child, I have two boys, Atman and Ayan. They are very different, but I love them both equally. If that answers your question, that's the response. Both the programs are very similar, with one nuanced difference of PGDM being higher on analytic bent, PGDMC being higher on communication bent. Going ahead, 10 years down the line, if you're a PGDM alum, you're still a MICA alum. You still stay in the same hostel, you still meet the same students, you still become a part of the same committees. So it's very, very similar. Yes, so is PGDM more general and PGDMC being kind of specialization? Nah, beta, nah. So PGDMC has a set of courses which are all available to the PGDM students also, except two courses, except two subjects. Let me not call them courses also, except two subjects. If you are really keen and you write to the program office and say, I want to audit those courses, we'd be happy to have you come and sit for PGDMC sessions also, those courses also. Because we are a small institute, I take immense pride in saying that MICA is a student-governed institute. You decide, and you are a very important stakeholder in deciding what MICA is. So our student committees, it'll be music to a lot of you. In our faculty meetings, we also have the student, what we call as MCSA, which is MICA Council for Student Affairs. Their representatives from the senior batch and junior batch come, and they are part of our governing council meetings to make presentations. They're part of our faculty meetings to make presentations, because we want to hear it from you. The whole joy of being a batch of just 200 is that you are not roll number 1090608. You are a name for me. You are an individual and a person for me. And because you're in a very small institute, you are my focus. And that's what we are able to do for both PGDM and PGDMC. Yeah. So that's one thing which is core to MICA. Okay. How cute. I like that question. What's your favorite part of working at MICA? My favorite part of that question is posed to me, Tanvi. My favorite part of working at MICA is it allows me to be myself. It gives me a lot of voice and respects my opinion, even if they don't merge with the mainstream. And third and most important, MICA is a place where we completely respect each other for our differences and not aligning to the mainstream. Finally, and this is the most important thing, we evolve because we hugely discuss, talk, bring out a consensus, and then come out with what we will collectively believe in. So the respect for each individual is the most beautiful part of working in MICA. So we're an extremely egalitarian institution where we are probably approachable to everybody. So we don't sit in ivory towers. We don't have this hoity-toity, me up and mighty, you little no one, me teacher, you student. It's a very facilitative, it's a very co-working space where we evolve, where we learn from each other mutually. And I can tell you that almost all my colleagues are very, very firm about the fact that our identities are because of the students. So we respect you and we want to make you better so that we can be better. Yep. The specializations you mentioned is available in both PGDM and PGDMC. Yes. Please share the link to where you will find it. Please look up the MICA website. It's got everything. And in fact, the LinkedIn is also releasing a lot of marketing campaigns. So we made some real freaky ones and it was fun.
So should we, if You think that it's appropriate? Should we share the link to the website which has, details of the selection process and the timeline? Would that help?
But actually, why am I not sharing that? Because some of them also want to know about the program, and some of them also want to know about the specializations. And knowing this Gen Z, they're slightly lazy people. They will only look at the link that you send them, and then they'll say, "Sir, आपने तो यही भेजा था, इसमें तो यही था." So let them work a little. MICA website, it is www.mica.ac.in. Reach out. If you have any questions, the admission ID is there. Please feel free to mail your questions to the admission or the marketing ID. I'm sure Abhijit will be a great conduit in case you have any other doubts and you feel वो अभी नहीं आया but घर जाके जब खाना खाया उसके बाद याद आया. Please reach out, mail to us. Be very approachable. What's a good MICAT score? The more you score, the better the score. So just go on. Try and give it your best. Yes. Any further questions? Taral, have I missed anything very important? Because I was just so much in the gusto of talking. Okay. What can I do for the 4 random picture sections in descriptive to improve it and excel it? Some papers we release and बाकी बच्चा आसपास दुनिया में जो भी दिखता है ना वो 4 चीजों को ले लो and try and create a story. In school, these are exercises that you would have been doing if you did any courses in creativity, in design thinking, in ideation. This is just what you do. Okay, do we type in these answers or is it handwritten? It's a computer-based exam. So sorry we missed that, but the entire exam is computer-based. So yes. Oh yes, a little bit more. So we have about 40 to 46 centers across the country. So no matter how distant you are from any main city, we should be having a center close to your place. 46 are also the number of centers that CAT has, by the way. So we will reach out to you. An additional thing that we do for our G and the PI process is that's conducted in 5 cities across the country: Ahmedabad, Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Bangalore. So we reach out to those centers because once you have applied for MICAT, our philosophy is that we should have you incur least cost. Yes. What is the time for the exam? It's normally in the morning. It's in the morning. We take the morning slot, unless of course the sky falls and we can only do it in the afternoon. But for all these years historically, we've only been doing it in the morning. Are there any mocks available for MICAT? Abhijit is smiling. I'm sure he's going to be releasing one mock very soon. Please enroll for that. So I'm only selling Abhijit. I'm not selling myself. Can you please discuss a little more about the course curriculum for both the courses? So Tanisha, my request will be go through the website, be a little more specific in your question, and I should be able to give you a lot of extensive details about any question that you have. But my suggestion will be, please go through what is laid out on the website because that's available for you. We also have a team interface, and the marketing team works very closely with team interface. They have a Facebook page. Reach out to them. They'll connect you to dozens and dozens of the current batch, the previous batch. You will necessarily, आप हिंदुस्तान के कोई भी कॉलेज से होंगे, आपको एक आपका सीनियर तो माइका में आया ही होगा. Reach out to them. Write to us. We'll give you complete details of any courses that you want. Okay, do we get to learn how to pitch and create a profile for our own device during the placements as a MICA alum? I don't know, Bhavya, what that question means, but a lot of preparation for the placements is made. Yes. Personal branding. Yes, that's one of the key parts that we discuss. So if that answers your questions, what are the job roles that the students go in at their placement? Normally, a lot of them in very big companies get the designation of a management training. Those are the typical designations that every entry B school has. But profiles are diverse. Profiles could range completely from, like I said, analytics. Some of them actually get into entrepreneurship also, because at MICA we have a lot of focus on entrepreneurship also. So some of them break out. Some of them necessarily choose to get into startups. We have a whole lot of all of the typical advertising, branding, marketing that is definitely there. A lot of digital companies are coming in on campus. Analytics are coming in. We also have a lot of third sector showing interest. So in case you're looking at the alternate sector, even that is there. It does. Thank you. What I meant to ask, will be able to create a role for myself and my potential employees, since my target industry doesn't often recruit from these schools. So please work with, like I mentioned, Bhavya, the MICA placement team is also heavily run and managed by the students. So the placement committee is a very powerful committee. The junior batch works to place the senior batch, and the senior batch works to place the junior batch. So you are basically working with your cohort. You're working with your seniors and juniors to get your profile. So my suggestion will be, go ahead, pitch to the company that doesn't hit any other B school and get them on our campus. And take pride in saying that I was that first student who got this specific company to the campus. We'd be proud of you. Probably your name will also become a part of the convocation speech that the president delivers. If you could give me some tips for PI, it would be tremendously helpful. Anand, my suggestion is we'll get to that. We'll cross the bridge of the CAT and the MICAT. I assure you, I'd be happy to do, maybe with the marketing team, Abhijit's help, an exclusive session for GE and PI. Delighted to do that. And I'd be very, very happy to do that. And I will pull in Tarul and a couple of more of my faculties, and we'd be happy to do that. Absolutely delighted. Yep. Thank you so much. Aim to do that in a very same thing. Lovely. Abhijit, anything that you think I should have talked about? Because I think I talked a lot, right? Tarul, anything that you think I should have talked about? I'm good to do that again. And more.
I think we've covered everything. I see a lot of repetitive questions now. I think most of them are resolved. But yeah, anything that Abhijit would want to point out?
I think we briefly covered all the aspects for the school and the examination. And the only thing which I would suggest to all the students is don't wait for the last day for the registration. So the registration link is already been active. So we usually circulate a PDF which is called as I think the link is already here. This link is called as the Ultimate Guide to B-School Applications. So this is like the consolidation of all the applications which are open now. So students can directly log into the MyIMS portal, see the announcement, or possibly you can just copy paste and keep this link very much active with you. Please fill and complete the registration as soon as possible so that you do not miss the deadline by any chance, which may happen sooner or later. And let me thank Professor Ruchi and Tarul for patiently answering all the questions which the students have been posting. I can see around 78 questions which has come in on this portal. I'm sure there'll be more such engagement from the admission chair, the alums, the students, and the other associates whose voice would matter for all the students to make an informed decision with respect to applying to the school and retaining themselves for the upcoming cohort. Thank you so much.
Before we close, yes, Vedant, I see a question. Can I visit the college? You're most welcome. Reach out to the admissions office. They'll be delighted to tour you across the campus. Why I'm saying reach out? Because on certain days, it may be very difficult in case there is an event. It may be very difficult to let you in, but reach out to the admissions office. They will help you take a visit around the campus. In fact, it's a beautiful time to come to the campus because Ahmedabad's got slightly cool. It's a beautifully green campus laden with peacocks, monkeys, all sorts of animals, to the extent, yes, and this may be delight and music to some of you. To ensure that our students are happy, we also have 2 pets, 2 beagles on campus, which are specifically got to campus to ensure students' mental and emotional well-being. So that's how far we go to ensure that you are happy when you're on campus, and we'll take care of everything else. You take care of studies.
So if I'm not wrong, I think there's an open competition which happens every year, right? Where students get a chance to come and visit the campus for one day of the engagement.
Oh yeah, but that's generally for the undergrad. But aap likhiye, and the admissions team, the 2 people that Tarul just showed you, Love Thakkar and Jairaj Nair, they're very helpful. And of course, the marketing team led by Brahma and Dhruv, they're also a lovely pack of people. So we're largely a very cool gang of people. We don't have this permissions of 10,000 million people. Reach out, they'll get back to you. So it's a quick process. Reach out to team interface, they'll help you. It's efficient. We are small. We're very lit, agile, and pretty adaptable.
Yeah, we are in constant touch with Brahma also. I think once the CAT exam gets over, we are also planning a day at B school, which is with MICA. With all the students who are interested to visit the campus and spend one day, we'll plan some beautiful engagement with you guys there. The announcement is going to come to all the students once the CAT exam gets over, so that they can take some time out and visit the campus in Ahmedabad.
Yes. Yeah.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
Great. So I think we've done it, and look at the time. Pure.
Bang on.
Perfect. Thank you so much. What a pleasure. Well, I couldn't see you guys, but common names that I see: Rishabh, Tanya, Bhavya, Riya, Vedant, the very Gen Z names. Lovely reading your comments. Thank you so much, Tarul, for the support. Great, Abhijit, for being a very patient listener.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Ruchi. Thank you, Abhijit.
Have a great
It's been a
evening.
pleasure.
Thank you.